So in the previous video, we colored in our dude here. I'm just going to go ahead and put this back on. What I'm going to do now, actually I got to put underneath this too. I'm going to lock this layer too. Honestly, I would do more with this, but just for time purposes, I don't want to overdo it. So you get a rough idea of how to use that. So that's using the regular brush. I'm going to do the background more in using the mixer brush, and I'm going to show you first how that works. So the mixer brush, this isn't even, it's a little bit off. The mixer brush is underneath, and it looks like it's got a little water thing on it. So basically the big difference between this and the other brushes is that I'm going to go ahead and put this as very wet heavy mix. So this is what it does. So let's say I have this red color, right? Now if I have a normal brush, let me do a normal brush first. And if I, let's say, take green, and I brush it now. Yeah, some weird settings on this. Hang on a second. Let's just do regular hard round. And I have green, right? It just goes over top of it. There's nothing going on. But if instead I was using the mixer brush, okay, it's still green. Okay, good. It does this. It'll do that. So that's the big difference, is basically it allows your brush to mix with what's underneath it. And that's obviously a little bit more realistic, because if we were using definitely oil paints, right, because they take a really long time to dry, or if you were using even acrylic paints, those mix, or even if you're using pastels, right, those will mix too. Like all of those different medias, they all technically mix usually a little bit, right? So that's basically, this is meant more to mimic real world things. Okay, that's basically the real world media. That's the idea behind it. The only problem is, and you probably already noticed this, is see how it's dragging behind my thing? So this takes quite a bit more processing power, and especially if your brush is like really big, then it's going to be even slower. And so like if I'm trying to right, I can't even. You can see, like, it's slow. So that's, personally, I don't really like this brush as much. If it worked, like, if it was faster, then I'd probably be on board. And maybe on your computer it would be fine. My computer has problems now, but even when it didn't have problems, it still was, it was a little bit slow. So, and this is, and like I said, too, if it was larger, it would be even slower. So, that's kind of the reason why I don't use them as much. But I'm going to use it here just so you can kind of see. So, you can try to use these various things here. You should have some of the same settings, so I could still click on like this hard one, but you can see I can't use color dynamics or dual brush or these other things, so you're going to have to manually brush them through. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Kyle's Real World Round Flex brush, okay? Just because I feel like that's a nice kind of regular one. Make this a little bit bigger. And let me go through some options here. So this is actually meant to show what is on your brush. So I don't know if you can tell, there's a red dot there, and there's a little bit of a green thing. And the reason why is because I went through the red. But watch, if I go into here, you're going to see the red. So it's showing what would be on the brush. Because obviously if I brushed across something that's a different color, that would have residual effect on my brush. Now you can go up here and actually clean the brush. So I can clean it. And now you'll see... until I go in here, right, there's nothing on it. So now it has that green on there, but you're going to see how it ran out. And go in here, and then I can kind of, right, I kind of draw it across. But watch, if I start in a fresh area, let me just, see, I run out. Anyway, so you can clean it, and you can also load it. So if I want to add more paint, I can do it like that, okay? Let's just clean it. So that's what that is. These do that basically automatically. So this one here will load the brush after each stroke, which basically means that after every stroke that I draw, it'll automatically go ahead and put green back on the brush, okay? This one here, now notice, see the little, I don't know if you can see the little red there? It's because I just went in here and now the brush is dirty. This one here will automatically clean after each stroke, which means I might go like this and it will mix. But what won't happen is you won't see the red in there. It'll basically, it'll be like I cleaned the brush off and I went right back at it. And that's basically what these do. So depending on what the look is that you're trying to do and what have you, those are the ones that you're probably going to you're going to have to turn those on and off depending, okay? So I do not want to clean my brush because I, leave it dirty. Feel like it's a little more natural. I'm going to leave it on loading. Now, they have these custom here, but all these do is basically change the settings here. Okay? So, basically they're just meant to mimic what you would see. So if you did like a dry, watch, if I do a dry brush, you're going to see like when I go to brush stuff, even if I turn this off too, it's not, you can see after some point, see how I can't draw it off because it's a dry brush. But if instead I did, come on, oh, it's taking a while because it's slow. It's still drawing those strokes that I'm not doing. See what I'm saying? This is why it's like so slow. I'm not a huge fan. There it goes. But if I did, let's say, a wet brush, you're going to see that even without it auto-loading, it will mix. It'll make it like it's wet. And so that's the idea. Okay, so, and then how much load is on there. So I could do a dry brush with a light load, and let's go ahead and put this on there. You'll see when I draw across, see how it runs out? But if I did dry with a heavy load, it's still going to draw out, but maybe it'll go the whole way. Okay, it's not letting go. I thought it would still run out, but you can see that's basically, so you can kind of tell what they're meant to do by what the names are, and they just automatically change the settings. Most of the time when I see the presets, I actually don't use them. I'm like, I'll just make the settings I want. With this, I actually think it's just quicker to go here and choose and kind of go off of there. So usually I just do, I usually do right here, like wet, heavy mix. I feel like that's a good amount to work with, but that's basically what that is for. Okay, so I'm just going to do the background that way because, just so that we play around with it. So I'm going to delete that layer, make a new layer, and that's going to go underneath. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the sky color in here. I'm just going to use this brush itself. I'm not going to really change any settings on it. It's kind of a turquoisey kind of a color like this. So watch how slow this is, by the way. So I'm going to make the brush big. See, when it's big, it's really slow. And we'll just go like this. And then we'll go like this. Yay. Okay. And then let's go ahead and now I'm going to put the shell. I'm just going to do like kind of big solid colors first. Actually, you know what? Let's do the grass in the back there. That's something like, no, it's just actually a bit yellower than that. We'll go with that. Okay, make this quite a bit smaller. And there's nothing wrong also with changing your brushes. Like, you don't have to do the whole painting in that one type of brush. I'm just not going through and switching it around. So particularly like the background, the foreground, you might want to change them up so that the background recedes and your foreground elements stand out. So I'm just gonna let me see, boom, and this is to reload. I got heavy mix. Let's clean the brush. Okay. Let's do. I'm just getting a lot of. Let's see. Let's do dry heavy load just so that I can draw over top of it. Because right now, it was just mixing so much. It was like having difficulties with it. So. Okay, so I'm just going to call that the ground. And now I'm just going to go ahead and paint this. And this is like some sort of this color. I don't know what color you call this. Like an ivory color-ish. Okay, so, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint these like so. Now, like I said before, is that you might have like more brushes or different brushes. You can also like go online and there's like brushes. Like some people sell brushes. There's quite a bit that you can do with this. Photoshop is probably the #1 digital painting software. They had redone their brush engine, I don't know, a while ago now, like 5 years ago or something like that. And it's just, ever since they did that, it's pretty much superior because it's not even that it's the best at brushing. It's just, it's very good at doing the painting part. And because it has all the other tools available to it, it makes it better than any other digital painting software because you can do other things with it to enhance it as well. So, okay, so then this part, it was kind of dark gray in between, so it's kind of weird. But now for this, let's see if we can go ahead and get this to be a little bit wet and have it still sort of work. It looks like just add a little bit of wetness to it, and hopefully that seems a little too dark. That's a little better. So I'm just gonna paint this every other color. So personally, I really like digital painting. You may or may not. I find it pretty enjoyable. There's something about it. It's kind of relaxing to me because you can, I don't know, there's something about it that just, rather enjoy. And then let's just go a little bit darker. And then I'm just going to kind of on this side, just so there's a little bit of shading. Actually, this is like that. This is actually a different color altogether. This is actually the shell coming up. Okay, and then we'll just go like that. And let's just make this smaller so I can draw the striations. Let's go make it a little bit brighter. Imagine I did a good job. I know it's hard. And then we'll just do the background color. I'm just going to hit I for the sampler. And then back to B. And then actually, you know a neat little trick? If you hold Alt, it'll actually turn into the eyedropper. So hit Alt and click on that. And then, actually, Alt, I need this one. And then we'll just do kind of a lighter grayish. And I'm just going to go ahead this across here, just back and forth. Maybe you can find yourself a happy tree. It's so slow. Right, and then we'll just do kind of a darker color underneath this. This almost looks more like a marker. I don't feel like this. I'm just gonna hold Alt and click on that, and we'll just do a darker version of that. So. And we can actually turn these lines off now, and then get quite a bit of this. All right. Let's go in here and just put some lines in here, I guess. Okay. But that's the mixer brush. You could probably do a lot more with it. I didn't really do all that much, but I want to. This video part of the series is probably taking a bit too long, I think. But need it brighter. But you could do some really nice looking things with it. But you know, it's like anything else, it takes time. So just take your time. I guarantee that you can make something really cool and fun. You know, try to enjoy your time with the program here. Yeah. All right. So, oh, you know what? I didn't paint this background. I'm just gonna do the bucket here because I'm lazy. More towards the blue. Let's go like that. It's terrible, but we'll go with it. Okay. So we'll call that good. But basically, that's how you do digital painting. If you want to do it more like a painterly thing, you can kind of do that. Obviously, spend more time than I am. You know, you could spend hours on it, but you know, get some inspiration. Use reference photos as much as possible. Your work will turn out much better because you're trying to match something.